I'm Jeff Hampton with the Hampton Law Firm. Thanks for joining us today on our YouTube video. Today I want to talk to you about capital murder in Texas. What is the difference between murder and capital murder, and when is there a decision that's made whether to move forward with a capital murder case as opposed to a murder charge? So we're going to talk about that today, and if you wait around to the end of this video, I'll also offer you a free ebook, What to Do If You've Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. Okay, let's jump right into this. Now, I don't want to break this down too much into what sounds like a law school class, but when you do a basic study of what murder is, many other states have different types of definitions of murder. You can have everything from felony murder. There's second-degree murder in other cases or in other states. You can also have other variations of murder, and we could talk about manslaughter and different things like that. But in Texas, I know most of you are probably aware that obviously murder is one of the most serious crimes you can be charged with. But Texas has a very specific list of things that take place if someone takes the life of another person and certain aggravating factors exist, it permits the district attorney's office to potentially charge that person with capital murder, okay? So let's jump into this. First of all, murder, okay? Murder is, obviously, we all know what that is, taking the life of another person. And under Texas law, generally, murder is a first-degree felony, where you're punished anywhere on a minimum side of 5 years all the way up to life in prison. Now, capital murder, though, and first-degree murder are basically the same thing. There's not a lot of difference between what you see, except there are certain facts that would exist that elevate the charge to a higher level where you could be talking about potentially the death penalty. So both talk about the killing of another person, usually the premeditated taking of the life of another individual. But capital murder in Texas must involve one of the following elements. So not only is there the death of an individual, okay, but on top of that, the victim, number one, the victim is a police officer or fireman in the line of duty, and the defendant knows this, okay? So if the individual kills a police officer or a fireman and they're aware of the fact that's who they are, they can be charged with capital murder. Number two, the killing occurs during the commission or attempt of the following felonies: kidnapping, burglary, aggravated sexual assault, arson, obstruction or retaliation, or terroristic threat, okay? Number three, the killing was committed for payment or promise of payment. In this instance, both the person who paid for the killing and the actual killer can be charged with capital murder. Number four, the killing occurs during the escape or attempted escape from a prison, okay? So if you break out of prison, and if somebody breaks out of prison and they end up killing an officer or someone else involved in that process, they can be charged. The next one is the killing is committed by an incarcerated person in conjunction with organized criminal activity. In other words, one person kills another. A lot of gang activity within prison where they kill one another. You can be charged with this. The killing is committed by a person incarcerated for the following aggravated felonies: aggravated kidnapping, aggravated sexual assault, or aggravated robbery. Or the next one is the defendant kills more than one individual either in one act, such as a mass shooting, or different criminal acts, such as gang killings or a serial killer. Finally, we can also look at this if the victim was under 10 years of age. So if a child is murdered under 10 years of age, that can immediately elevate this up to a capital murder charge. And then if the victim was a judge or justice and the killing was committed in retaliation or on account of that judge's service. So let's say a judge presides over a trial. And we've seen these type of things have happened rarely, but they do happen, where someone tries to put out a hit on the judge as a result of what happened. You could be charged if that judge ends up being killed, that you can end up being charged with capital murder. These are examples of how someone can be charged, okay? So what are the penalties for murder and capital murder? Of course, I've already mentioned this in Texas. If it's a regular murder charge, it's a first-degree felony, 5 to life. But in the situation of capital murder, obviously the state of Texas does have the death penalty. And if they choose to pursue the death penalty, that is an example where the death penalty could be pursued, or if the state elects not to pursue the death penalty, there can be an automatic life imprisonment. Many times the state of Texas may waive the death penalty, but if the individual is found guilty, it's automatic life in prison if they are charged with capital murder and found guilty, okay? So if you have any specific questions about this particular subject, or maybe you're facing a crime in Texas and you would like us to answer your questions, don't hesitate to contact the Hampton Law Firm at 817-877-5200. And thanks again for joining us today. I promised you if you waited around to the end of the video, I'd give you a free ebook, What to Do If You've Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. Click the link below. I'll be happy to send it over to you. And thanks again for joining us. We'll see you on our next video series.